The first light of dawn seeped through the curtains, gently illuminating the cluttered room. Among the scattered coffee bags, gleaming espresso machines, and worn-out notebooks, Alex Mitchell stood, his eyes fixed on the emerging sun. He could feel the rhythm of the day beginning to pulse, matching the steady beat of his heart. For as long as Alex could remember, the world had been a symphony of flavors and aromas, all centered around one simple pleasure: coffee. From his first sip as a teenager, he was entranced by the alchemy that turned humble beans into a nectar that awakened the senses. As the years passed, Alex's fascination blossomed into a fervent passion. He developed books on brewing techniques, traveled to remote coffee farms, and spent countless nights experimenting in his cramped kitchen. Coffee wasn't just a beverage, it was a journey, a dance of flavors waiting to be orchestrated. But Alex craved more than personal perfection. He dreamed of a place where others could share in his symphony, where every cup was a note in a larger composition. The vision consumed him, fueling late-night scribbles of layouts and menus, each stroke of the pen bringing him closer to his dream. Friends and family watched with a mix of concern and admiration as Alex's world became a whirlwind of coffee grounds and entrepreneurial zeal. Some called it obsession. Alex knew it was a calling. With every early morning and late night, the rhythm of Alex's life beat louder, the tempo building towards a crescendo he could almost taste. The café, his café, was more than a business venture, it was an extension of his soul. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting golden rays across the room, Alex took a deep breath. Today was the day he would take the first step towards turning his dream into reality. With determination in his eyes and the rhythm of his heart guiding him, he set out to find the perfect location, the cornerstone of his coffee symphony. Little did he know, this journey would be a melodic crescendo of trials, triumphs, and a legacy that would resonate far beyond his wildest dreams. The stage was set, and the conductor was ready to lead his symphony of coffee to heights he could scarcely imagine. In the heart of Alex's childhood home, nestled between the worn pages of an old cookbook, lay the first verse of his coffee journey. It was a rainy afternoon, and the comforting scent of freshly brewed coffee enveloped the kitchen. Alex, barely a teenager, stood wide-eyed, watching as his grandmother carefully measured out the beans and filled the ancient percolator. As the water heated and the aroma swirled around the room, his grandmother shared stories of their family's connection to coffee. Generations of conversations, celebrations, and quiet moments had been steeped in its warmth. It was more than a beverage, it was a tradition, a thread woven through their history. From that moment on, Alex's fascination with coffee took root. He began to experiment, blending beans, adjusting grinds, and carefully timing the brew. Each cup was an opportunity to compose a new melody of flavor, a symphony of taste notes that danced on his palate. His parents, initially surprised by his newfound obsession, watched with a mix of amusement and pride. It was clear that Alex was on the cusp of discovering something extraordinary, something that would shape his path in ways they couldn't yet imagine. As the years passed, Alex's bedroom transformed into a laboratory. Shelves were lined with an assortment of coffee paraphernalia, French presses, pour-over cones, grinders of various sizes. He spent countless hours tinkering, honing his craft, and journaling every discovery. Each experiment brought him closer to understanding the delicate balance between water temperature, grind size, and brewing time. Outside the confines of his home, Alex sought out every coffee-related event, meeting like-minded enthusiasts, and absorbing knowledge from seasoned baristas. His curiosity was insatiable, and he was driven by a desire to master the art of brewing. Through it all, Alex's passion for coffee was not just about the drink itself, it was about the ritual, the artistry, and the connection it fostered between people. He envisioned a space where others could experience this magic, a place where every cup told a story, where the art of brewing was celebrated. As he stood in the bustling kitchen of his childhood home, surrounded by the echoes of his grandmother's wisdom, Alex knew that he was on the precipice of something extraordinary. The early chords of his coffee symphony had been struck, and the melody was only just beginning. The decision hung in the air, heavy with both anticipation and uncertainty. Alex stood at the threshold, gazing at the worn sign that read "For Lease" on the quaint corner storefront. This was the canvas upon which his coffee dream would be painted. Taking a deep breath, he stepped inside, the scent of fresh paint mingling with the lingering aroma of possibility. The space was smaller than he'd imagined, but it had character. Sunlight spilled through the windows, casting a warm glow on the hardwood floors, inviting customers to linger. The challenges were apparent from the start. The lease negotiations were a delicate dance, one that tested Alex's resolve and negotiating skills. The financial burden of launching a cafe was daunting, and securing funding proved to be a labyrinth of meetings, proposals, and sleepless nights. Doubts crept in, like a persistent discord in an otherwise harmonious tune. Could he really turn this modest space into the beacon of coffee excellence he envisioned? Were his skills and passion enough to navigate the complexities of entrepreneurship? The learning curve was steep. Alex delved into the intricacies of permits, licenses, and health regulations. He juggled contractors, designers, and suppliers, each with their own tempo and demands. The weight of responsibility settled on his shoulders, a constant reminder that the success or failure of this venture rested squarely on his determination. The construction phase was a crescendo of activity. Walls were painted in warm, inviting hues, and custom-made counters were installed. Every detail, from the arrangement of tables to the selection of artwork, was carefully curated to create an atmosphere that would resonate with customers. The menu was a composition of flavors, each item meticulously tested and refined. Alex's dedication to quality was unwavering, and he sought out the finest beans from around the world, forging relationships with growers who shared his passion for excellence. As opening day approached, a mixture of excitement and trepidation filled the air. The cafe, once a blank canvas, now hummed with life. The aroma of freshly ground coffee beans mingled with the laughter and chatter of the staff, who had become a tight-knit family through the trials and triumphs of the journey. On the eve of the grand opening, as Alex stood in the doorway, looking at the transformed space, he felt a surge of pride and accomplishment. The challenges had been formidable, but they had forged him into a resilient entrepreneur, ready to share his passion with the world. As the first rays of morning light bathed the cafe in a golden glow, Alex opened the doors, the rhythm of his heart echoing the steady beat of anticipation. The journey was just beginning, and with each cup of meticulously brewed coffee, Alex was poised to leave an indelible mark on the world of coffee connoisseurs. In the early hours of dawn, when the world was still cloaked in a hushed serenity, Alex embarked on a journey that would become the heartbeat of his cafe, the quest for the perfect beans. His travels took him to distant corners of the globe, where lush coffee farms cradled the promise of exceptional harvests. With a discerning eye and an eager palate, he navigated the verdant landscapes, guided by the knowledge that the heart of any exceptional brew lay in the quality of its beans. From the sun-drenched plantations of Colombia to the misty highlands of Ethiopia, Alex sought out growers who shared his reverence for the coffee bean. He forged connections with farmers who treated their crops not as commodities, but as living works of art, nurtured with care and respect for the land. Each visit was a symphony of senses. The earthy scent of rich soil, the rhythmic rustle of leaves, and the chorus of birdsong formed a backdrop to conversations with passionate farmers. They spoke of generations tending to the same soil, of the delicate dance between weather and harvest, and of the intricate alchemy that transformed raw cherries into the treasures that would grace Alex's cafe. Back at home, the task of selecting beans for the cafe was a meticulous process. Alex became a curator of flavors, blending beans from different regions to create harmonious blends that danced on the palate. Each combination was a new composition, a testament to the artistry that underpinned his craft. The quest for the perfect location was equally vital, a melody that would resonate with the community. It required an understanding of foot traffic patterns, an ear attuned to the neighborhood's pulse, and a keen eye for a space that could be transformed into a sanctuary for coffee lovers. After months of exploration and contemplation, Alex founded the corner storefront with its inviting windows and intimate ambience. It was nestled in a neighborhood where the hum of daily life provided the perfect backdrop for a café. The location was not just a physical space, it was a stage upon which Alex's coffee symphony would unfold. Securing the lease was a moment of triumph, a harmonious chord that signaled the beginning of a new movement in his journey. The café's heartbeat, fueled by the painstakingly sourced beans and the carefully chosen location, was ready to pulse through the community. As the first bags of beans arrived at the café, their earthy fragrance mingling with the scent of freshly painted walls, Alex knew that he was on the precipice of something extraordinary. The coffee, like the café itself, was a testament to the meticulous craftsmanship and unwavering passion that defined his pursuit of perfection. The day had arrived, wrapped in a cocoon of anticipation. The sign above the door now proudly proclaimed Rhythm Café. As the first light of dawn spilled onto the sidewalk, Alex stood at the threshold, his heart pounding in sync with the rhythm of a new beginning. The scent of freshly brewed coffee hung in the air, mingling with the warm embrace of freshly baked pastries. The café, once a blank canvas, now pulsed with life. Tables were meticulously arranged, each chair a potential seat for a future patron. The baristas, clad in aprons adorned with the café's logo, stood poised at their stations, ready to craft Alex's carefully curated brews. The doors swung open, inviting the world into Alex's symphony of coffee. The initial trickle of customers was met with warm smiles and genuine enthusiasm. For many, it was their first taste of Alex's artistry, and the response was a chorus of delight. But as the days passed, reality settled in. The early morning rush and the afternoon lull followed a capricious tempo, sometimes a rapid staccato, other times a slow, drawn-out refrain. The initial excitement gave way to the sobering realization that success was not an overnight crescendo. The financial strain was a persistent undertone, a dissonance that threatened to disrupt the harmony. Balancing the books, managing expenses, and ensuring a steady stream of revenue became a daily preoccupation. Alex's determination to provide a haven for coffee enthusiasts clashed with the practicalities of sustaining a business. Staffing presented its own set of challenges. Finding baristas who shared Alex's commitment to excellence proved to be a delicate endeavor. Training them to craft each cup with the same care and precision became a labor-intensive overture, but one that was essential to maintain the café's reputation. As the weeks unfolded, the ebb and flow of customers became a familiar rhythm. The café's regulars, drawn by the allure of expertly brewed coffee and a welcoming atmosphere, formed the cornerstone of the business. Their loyalty was a reassuring refrain in the face of the uncertainties that came with entrepreneurship. Through it all, Alex's determination remained unwavering. He analyzed every note of the café's performance, seeking opportunities for improvement and innovation. He forged connections with the community, hosting events and fostering a sense of belonging that resonated with patrons. The struggles, though at times discordant, were a necessary part of the symphony. They tested Alex's resolve, forcing him to adapt, learn, and grow. Each setback was met with a counterpoint of resilience, a commitment to keep the melody alive. As the café's doors closed each evening, Alex would stand amidst the lingering aroma of coffee and reflect on the day's performance. The initial challenges were not a deterrent, they were the stanzas that would lead to a triumphant finale. The café, like any great composition, was a work in progress, and with every passing day, it found its rhythm. Within the warm embrace of Rhythm Café, a tapestry of characters unfolded, each contributing their unique notes to the symphony that was Alex's vision. Maria, the morning muse. At the break of dawn, Maria was the first ray of sunlight to grace the café. Her cheerful greetings and infectious laughter set the tone for the day. A loyal customer from the beginning, Maria had a penchant for storytelling and a deep appreciation for the artistry of coffee. Her tales of travel and adventure became a source of inspiration for both staff and patrons alike. Eli, the barista virtuoso. Eli was a virtuoso behind the espresso machine, his hands moving with a grace that bordered on balletic. He had an innate understanding of the nuances of coffee, a skill honed over years of dedication to the craft. Eli's palate was impeccable, and he could discern the slightest variations in flavor profiles. He became Alex's right-hand man, entrusted with the delicate task of bringing each blend to life. Lily, the quiet observer. In a corner booth, Lily found solace amid the pages of her books. Her presence was unassuming, yet her keen intellect and love for the written word added a subtle depth to the café's atmosphere. Lily was a connoisseur of contemplation, finding refuge in the café's serene ambience. She became a silent muse, inspiring Alex to curate an environment where introspection was as welcome as lively conversation. Jake, the weekend troubadour. On Saturday evenings, the café transformed into a stage for Jake's soulful melodies. With his guitar in hand and a voice that resonated with raw emotion, Jake wove a musical tapestry that elevated the café experience. His presence drew a crowd of admirers, turning the café into a sanctuary for music lovers and providing a platform for local artists to share their talents. Sarah, the beacon of support. Behind every successful venture, there was often an unsung hero. For Alex, that hero was Sarah. She was the steady force that kept the gears of the café turning. From managing inventory to handling administrative tasks, Sarah's organizational prowess was the backbone of the operation. Her belief in Alex's vision and her unwavering dedication made her an indispensable ally in the journey. Together, these characters formed a chorus of support and inspiration. Their presence in the café became more than just transactions, it was a shared experience, a harmonious exchange of stories, music, and camaraderie. Their loyalty and contributions were the threads that wove the fabric of Rhythm Café, creating a space where the melody of community thrived.